This is a tough decision because there's pros and cons to this. I tell everybody I've got two values kind of bumping against each other right now. All of this is still being debated. I see some benefits of it financially, but I understand all the concerns as well.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, January 16th, and man, am I underdressed. Apparently this is formal, at least business week. Here I am in a polo and a jacket. You're dressed up for the occasion.
I just had meetings all day downtown today, so it was. I promise it wasn't for this.
All right, fair enough. Maybe we'll talk about that. What meetings were going on and get into the legislative session. We'll save that for the end.
Okay.
There are a couple of big topics we want to talk about. First, I want to introduce Mayor Palmer joining as usual. I'm John LaFollette, Communications Manager. How's it going? You surviving?
It's been a roller coaster week, but
no kidding. Let's start off with, I don't want to bury this. A lot of people are curious about the athletic complex. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to make sure people are aware of the newly launched water dashboard portal. I don't know how best to call that, but basically there's a way where residents can create an account and using their existing water account and log into a dashboard where, depending on the age of their home, see their historical water usage for their home, so you don't have to wait until the bill comes anymore every month. This is something we've been working toward for a while. We honestly kind of hoped to launch it last summer. It didn't happen. Here we are in January 25, but a pretty cool new feature.
I love it. And the newer homes, like you said, the older homes, historical, right? The newer homes, you can track it down to the hour, right? You're, within the hour, what your usage was. We're hoping this can be a conservation tool. You can see what your high peak times are. You can take a look at it if you can see this stuff. I'm anxious to see it because I think I'm going to be surprised at when it's being used, what's going on. I'm anxious to see this, because you just get that bill at the end of the month and it doesn't spell it out. Exactly. So this is going to be, I think, a powerful tool.
Even for people who do look at their water bill, they see the number there. It's actually a double-digit number. It's standing for thousands of gallons that you've used. But in the summer, if you see a 25 or 35 or 45, that's 25,000 gallons, 35,000 gallons, so forth. And now with this tool, you can see when you're using your water. There's a really cool automatic, again, if your home was built in the last decade or so, there's an automatic notification feature you can set up in your own account where its purpose is for leak detection. If you have a certain amount of water being used, let's see, while you're out of town, or if there's a limit you kind of want to set on the day and get triggered a text message or something like that for an overage of an amount that you set in, that can help you not get surprised by water leaks. And there are residents who I've seen get surprised because there's a leak maybe out in their sprinkler or something. They get a huge water bill and it's like, dang it. But hopefully this, if you set up an account, can help prevent things like that.
I love it. Powerful tool. Love it.
So go to harriman.gov/water dashboard. When we made this page, we didn't throw a hyphen in there. So harriman.gov/water dashboard. You'll find all sorts of instructions and key features that we might be overlooking. But one thing to note, when you're setting it up, it'll take you to a third-party page. It's a vendor that we're using. When you set up your account, important to know, you should enter your account number as appears on your bill and the name exactly as appears on your bill. So for my house, my wife is the one who has the utility account attached, so I have to put her name in.
Gotcha.
And your address exactly as it appears. So
on the water bill. So just match the water bill.
Yep, exactly. So if let's use the City Hall's address, 5355 West Herriman Main Street, but if it shows up on your bill as street is maybe ST period or something, put the ST period, or else it'll throw you an error. And
got it.
When I was setting it up, it's kind of frustrating and confusing, but just a heads up there, and hopefully a tool people like.
I love it. Looking forward to it.
Another hot topic right now, we talked about this in several other podcasts. Information's kind of hitting the public now, which is expected, and
it's good.
Yeah, we've been having community meetings. We'll have a couple more this coming week. about the athletic complex. If for those who are listening to the podcast for the first time, you're hearing about this for the first time, first of all, welcome.
Right. Right.
But maybe what's the goal here behind this athletic complex idea? And maybe to put it simply, what would be the cost? Because at least for the city, because we don't have the cash to pay for something like this.
Right.
So what are the things that are being considered here?
So really, we're trying to consolidate some park space. That's what we're trying to do. We've committed to a lot of park space from previous agreements. We've recognized the city, we don't have, the budget's not going to be there for years to do that. So we were just trying to brainstorm, how can we still bring an amenity? It was brought up that if we can build a regional facility that's over 50 acres, that really qualifies for outside money. Like, I don't want to say where that, because there's a lot of different options, right? And we're not targeted towards one, but a lot of outside funding looks at that. And then the goal is, and I know I've seen a lot of I've read probably every comment on every post. There are a lot
of social media discussions going on.
Which is great. And I want to read those. A lot of comments we don't listen. I'm reading every comment, literally every comment, because we want to know. This is a tough decision because there's pros and cons to this. And I think even as a council, we see the pros and cons of this decision. I tell everybody I've got two values kind of hitting kind of bumping against each other right now. I've pushed back against adding more density in the city. It's truly nothing against density. I think we're missing some, of the smaller lots with a backyard. I think we're missing that a little bit in the community. I would love to see that. But at the same time, there are some numbers that we've seen back from what a regional park, regional athletic complex could bring. There's interest from hotels. No, they're not here yet, but there's interest. Like they've reached out since they've heard that we've been talking about this. We're kind of trying to bookend the athletic complex with two commercial properties. You've got the Winco, the Anthem project, that's still taking off. There is a hotel plan there, just so everybody knows. There is a hotel there already.
Coming in very soon.
Very soon. It's already approved. It's through the process. You'll probably see it out of the ground this spring, right? That's coming. Then in Olympia, there will be a commercial center as well. And these two would be connected through the trail, just really, really close together. And really what we can do with Olympia, if we have the athletic complex, we already have been told there's more that can happen in this commercial center. More box stores, more, another hotel would be very interested in going out there. So no, that's not there yet, but we're still early. All of this is still being debated. We put it out there early. This is an extra step we've taken as a council, really, to go get feedback from the community. Not every city does these extra steps to get this feedback. We really are. I'm telling you, if it continues to be mostly negative, it's going to be hard to vote for something. I'm just being open right now. I see some benefits of it financially, but I understand all the concerns as well. So please just keep letting us know how you feel. If you're in support, let us know. If you're against it, please let us know. We are reading those comments. Nothing's a done deal yet. We're analyzing it still, getting feedback. Come to all the meetings because there's a lot of moving parts. It's not just one area going to a housing. We're actually adding park space in the city through this deal. So anyway, a lot of pros and cons and gives and takes, but that's where we're headed.
Yeah, and there are a lot of considerations going on. Traffic is one. We know that's a tough point for people now, let alone in the future. And hopefully it's fair to say we have traffic as a consideration. It's not something that the city's forgetting about. There are professional traffic engineers looking at this, trying to figure out the planning, the best way for really any subdivision, but including this athletic complex and all the potential impacts.
Right.
Making sure that our roads can handle it in a way that's acceptable with engineering standards.
Right.
Water is always a consideration, and we're all these different pieces are things that are kind of in the thought process. The city's doing its best not to overlook anything.
Right.
The city council and the city is getting community feedback, and that's going to be weighed in this decision. It's not necessarily just a straight vote based on emails or phone calls or social media feedback.
Right.
It's not that simple, but the community feedback is valuable. The city council is spending a lot of time listening to the feedback. So like you said, whether it's positive or negative, please let your city council members know.
Right.
We tend, for any proposal, to hear more from those with dissenting opinions. That's just a natural human thing. So I would say just whatever your thoughts are. If you don't care, then let your
Right.
city council
Tell
member
us
know.
that too. Yeah.
Just whatever it will just help the city council make the best decision for the city. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
If you have questions about what on earth is going on or how it affects you, Herriman.gov/athletic-complex. Sorry, there's a hyphen on that one. Herriman.gov/athletic-complex. We spelled out in a nutshell what's going on. There's an interactive map there. You can click on different parts of the map to see how it all works together. Very complex. It's something that hasn't been decided. There's been a lot of work that's gone into it for years, but not finally decided. And please let your city council members know what you think.
Yep. Please do.
Few other notes we want to touch on. The Yeti Hunt is going on right now. We weren't sure how it was going to go having it in January as opposed to December. If participation on the first night was any indicator, usually that's one of the slower nights. It was a big hit.
Was it? I hadn't heard. That's
So-
fantastic.
So going well, there's another one this morning. Every other day, alternating night and day, there will be a clue posted on Herriman City's Facebook, Instagram, I believe X, in parentheses, formerly Twitter, because that's everybody has to write it now.
Right.
Lean on Facebook and Instagram. If you have any questions how that all works, herriman.gov/Yeti-Hunt. We love our hyphen.
We do love our
That's just the
hyphens.
way our website's set up. I'm sorry. But if you want to go find out how that works, it's super fun. There's usually a lot less to do in January than there is in December. So
Right. We're excited. We're going to get out this weekend, so
Yeah.
we're excited.
good time. And different from the Yeti Hunt, the Yeti Run has a 5K or is a 5K in June as part of Town Days. The reason we're saying that now is because registration is open. And if you register by January 29th, 25% off. Let's say it's for 2025.
I love it.
I don't know if that's actually what it was for.
It sounds good. We'll go with it.
There's a promo code you'll need to enter, Yeti Saves 25. So if you like 5K, there's a 5K, there's a Ruck 5K, which last year we started, and there were some participants, and it was kind of fun.
Big turnout, actually. Yep.
And then a 1 mile fun run. For some people, it's an oxymoron, but
That'll be me.
so all three of those, that's a really fun moment. I don't remember if it's an afternoon or an evening, how it's laying out this year. But
Right.
So if you like the Yeti Run, or if you're thinking about a 5K or a fun run, Herriman.gov/ you guessed it, Yeti-Run.
Could have guessed that, yes.
Or just go to Herriman.gov/events. And one more calendar item too. Next Tuesday, the 21st, from 10 to 3, there's going to be a blood drive at the City Hall.
that's right.
If you're looking for an opportunity to donate blood, or if that's something that's kind of close to you, go to the Red Cross's website to set up your appointment. Okay. That would be redcrossblood.org if you're interested in that. Again, that's Tuesday from 10 to 3 here at the City Hall.
Okay.
Let's talk about your suit.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, gosh.
No, you had meetings today.
Right.
You always have meetings, but what were those about, and how do they relate to the legislative session coming up?
These 2 weeks, beginning of the year, are leading into the session. The legislative session starts Tuesday morning, 45 days. So it's a marathon. And to me, it's exciting, but I don't love this time. I'm just being honest. I don't love this time of year. I spend a lot of time at the Capitol. A lot of us do up there. Today was a couple of meetings getting ready for that. I was sitting on a couple of committees, and this was a couple of those committees getting ready, kind of being briefed about what some of the bills are. More focus on housing, infrastructure, energy is a big one this year, higher ed. So we'll keep on top of that, update everybody on that sort of stuff. Nothing real. We haven't seen a lot of language in any critical bills yet. That's still coming, but we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, today was meetings downtown all day, trying to look. You never know where you're going to get sucked in these meetings, so I just try to look the part.
It sounds like a blast.
We'll go with that. Yes.
So basically, what at this stage of, again, you mentioned the legislative session hasn't started yet, but this stage of the legislative session, if you will, a lot of the bills are being proposed by legislators. They're getting numbered, is how they call it, and what are the next stages for a bill once it's numbered and listed on a website? How does it go from that to being talked about by the legislature and potentially into law?
That's a great question, actually. I've been fascinated by this process, right? Because I've never been in that process, but watching it unfold. So everything starts in a committee. Everything's assigned to a committee. Every committee has House members and Senate members on there. Depending on then if it gets moved out of committee, if it's a member of the House of Representatives that proposes it, it goes to the House. If it's a Senate bill, it goes to the Senate first, and then has to get approved by each House, and then, or each chamber, and then swapped over the other one and approved by both. So you have to keep an eye on where they're both going, who's proposing them. Sometimes they get killed in committee, sometimes they're modified in committee, and then they go out to. So we try to start the process early, watching them early, trying to, really we're fighting for what's best for our residents. I mean, that's constant, but we've got great relationships with our representatives and senators out here, so they're constantly in communication with us and hoping to have a good session.
So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you reasonably updated here on the podcast. We're not going to give you an exhaustive list of everything,
right,
but the things that we think will impact you the most or our operations the most,
absolutely,
we'll keep you apprised.
Yep.
All right, that's enough gabbing for one day.
It was good, though.
As we're about to go have another community meeting.
Right,
so
seriously.
About something else.
Right.
But anyway, thank you as always for listening and watching. And again, as always, you can send us a question via email. You can call us if you really want to. Leave a comment on social media. Thanks, Mayor Palmer, for carving out a few minutes.
I love it.
And thank you for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time.